Hi everyone, so I have been kind of not putting off doing this video but just not getting around to doing it for the longest time, and I have finally got around to doing it now. And today we're going to be talking about highlighters, or more specifically kind of my favourite highlighters if you have oily skin, which I do. Now I know a lot of people who have oily skin really shy away from using highlighter because you think my skin has natural highlighter, it's already a little bit oily, I already get glow in places that I don't necessarily want it. But adding highlighter into your routine, especially in the cooler months, I feel really works well at kind of giving your face more dimension, making your skin look a little bit healthier, a little bit more luminous, especially when it's so grey outside and kind of your face just looks really lackluster. Or your skin rather, and it's something that I kind of do use in my daily routine during the winter months, not necessarily so much in the summer, but in the winter I like to use it. And I've got kind of a selection here of cream products if you prefer that, and then some powders, and then some kind of different type of products as well. So I'm going to start with the cream products first of all, and the first one is what I've got on today, and it's great if you want something really subtle. Quite a few of the things I've got in here are high end. I've got a couple of drugstore things in there too to mix it up, so don't worry if you're kind of thinking, oh, everything's high end. But this is the Clinique Chubby Stick Sculpting Highlight and Hefty Highlight, which looks like this, and it's basically just a giant chubby stick which has a kind of pearlescent sheen to it. It is very pearlescent. It's one that kind of pops on my skin because it's kind of the opposite tone to my skin, if that makes sense. It's more of a kind of cool tone shade. Me trying to swatch highlighters is going to be interesting because they just literally all look the same, don't they? It looks like just a little bit of glow. But I really like that product because it's easy to just pop on. With cream highlighters, I always put them on before I do my powder, so I'll do foundation, concealer, and then always put the highlighter on. One thing to note, if you do have kind of problem areas like I have with my pigmentation, where it's kind of in the area of where I would put highlighter on, so where you put highlighter, probably should cover that as well. I've got a brush to demonstrate this with because I just thought it'd be easier, but I like to do it on the tops of my cheekbones, and then sometimes I'll do it a little bit on my cupid's bow and under my eyes, but for that I like to use a more matte highlight, which we'll get on to later on. But if I kind of put it on the tops of my cheekbones, sometimes it can interfere with the concealer that I need to put just here where I have pigmentation. So kind of be careful about your placement with it. What I like to do is I like to kind of, when I'm putting my makeup on, turn my head, and the place that naturally catches the light, you can see, is just this bit here, and then I'll just put a little bit of highlighter on there, dab it in with my fingers. The Clinique one I like to use with my fingers because I like the control because of the concealer issues, but you could use a brush to do it with. Something kind of just to buff it in a little bit would work well, but it can move your foundation around, so be careful with that. Tapping rather than blending is the key with liquid foundations, liquid highlighters, sorry. Then the next one I've got is from Benefit, and this is a tiny little baby size of the Benefit High Beam. This isn't something that I would use nowadays really, but it is something that I did use a lot a few years ago, and it's just again a very similar colour to the Clinique one, but it's a liquid, so it looks a little bit more natural. I feel it kind of meshes with your skin a little bit better. It's one that I would use more so in the evening for some reason, but it works really beautifully at kind of giving your skin that sheen. I've just blended it in now because you can kind of see it better, but like I said, trying to show swatches of highlights not very helpful, is it? But beautiful sheen, not glittery, just like that kind of really glossy look that looks so beautiful on all skins, I think, but it's not something that's necessarily the most practical when you have oily skin. Then another one from Benefit that I love is the Benefit What's Up, and I always want to call it What's App, but I bought this, and to be honest I haven't actually used it that much because it's more of a golden toned highlighter, so it's not one that I can wear all the time because I feel like it looks nicer when I have a tan. Again, pointless me doing this, isn't it? The light just kind of makes everything look really weird, but not one that I necessarily would wear when I'm pale, but really pretty, really subtle. Probably the most subtle out of all of them, but it gives beautiful glow, and it comes with like a little spongy thing that you're supposed to kind of dab it in with, which I have done in the past, but it kind of, again, you can do a better job with your hands, I feel. It just moves it around a little bit. So that's it for liquid highlighters. Then for powder highlighters, my favourite probably is the Makeup Revolution Radiance palette. Now these are dupes for the Hourglass Ambient Lighting palettes, and it looks a little something like this. beautiful. I tend to use these two shades the most. The bronzy shade's a little bit too orange for me. I'm not quite sure. It's not coloured enough to be a bronzer. It's a bit shimmery. I don't really get what the point of that one is. But these two are really lovely. If I want a more pronounced highlight, I'll use that one there. If I want something a little bit more natural, I'll use that one. I tend to use, for powder highlighters, either a fan brush is the most natural, or this is the Makeup Revolution Pro C brush. I'm not quite sure what the full name of the brush is, but it just looks like that. It's kind of angled and tapered, but because of that tapered part, it fits your cheekbone really, really well. Just dabbing it on or kind of swishing it, it just sits really nicely on your face. So I use that sometimes. I'm going to just put one of these on. I've already got the Clinique highlighter on, which again is something you can do if you want. You can kind of layer them up for a more kind of pronounced look. But I'll get a little bit of the middle shade of that palette, and then just put it on the tops of my cheekbone. And I like to just kind of blend it in a little. And it just catches the light and makes your face look kind of really luminous and pretty. Then another one that I like that's really expensive is from MUA, and it's the Undress Your Skin Shimmer Highlighter. This is more kind of along the lines of the Clinique highlighter. It's a little bit more pinky tone. I like to use the fan brush with this just because it's a little bit more in your face glow rather than a kind of more refined formula like the Radiance palette is. But I'll just take a fan brush and do it on the tops of my cheekbone. And you can kind of see that gives mega glow there. It's really, really pretty. Sometimes it can look a little bit kind of weird at first, but it settles into your skin and it's fine. Then for different options, I wanted to just have a few kind of things if you're just not into the whole highlighter thing. I really like to have kind of a cream matte / concealer highlighter for under my brows on my Cupid's bow. In the evening, I don't mind a bit of shimmer above my Cupid's bow, it looks pretty, but I don't like shimmer under my brow bone at all. I think it just looks really kind of old-fashioned. So the one I'm using at the moment is the Clarins Instant Light Brush On Perfector, which is beautiful. I came to the YSL Chocolat. There's lots of drugstore versions of it. I used to really like the L'Oreal one. I think maybe it was the L'Oreal True Match. I used to really, really like that one, but I kind of don't have particular preference in those. But these work beautifully at highlighting your face. So what I would do is under my brow bone. Sorry if I'm looking at the viewfinder. Just like that, blend it in, and it really helps to define your brow shape, and it also works nicely if you haven't done your brows at kind of concealing a little. I've already got some on today, so I don't want to pile it on too much, but that works really nicely, and on your Cupid's bow as well. Love that. I use that every single day. And then there are also kind of blush meets highlighter options, which are nice for kind of no makeup days. If you want something that just is going to add a little bit of glow to your face, a little bit more flattering and less kind of made up, these are really great options. My favourite one is actually the Clinique Sculpting, what's this called? Sculptuary Cheek Contouring Palette in Defining Nectars. I love this. I use it so often, and it doesn't look like the most exciting product in the world, but there's something about this that is just beautiful. It works so nicely. I kind of swish my brush in between all of these colours and kind of take my blush a little bit higher up. I do that anyway just because I feel like it suits my face shape more. But beautiful. Really, really recommend this. I use it all the time. And then two cheaper options. This is the Beauty UK Baked Blush. Again, baked products will kind of give you that effect naturally anyway because of kind of the formulation of them. And this is in the shade, I think it's called Lollipop. Where does it say the shade? Popsicle Pink. Looks like that, and if I swatch it here for you, it's just kind of like a pinky blush with a sheen. Works really nicely. Nice kind of refined formula as well. And then last but not least, we have the Soap and Glory at First Blush, and I think they do different shades of this. There's a peachy one that I really want to try that's supposed to be a dupe for MAC's that really famous MAC blush. I can't remember. But this is the pink one, and it looks like this. This is kind of like almost a MAC mineralized skin finish and a Bobbi Brown shimmer brick. You can kind of have just the white highlightery sections, or you can kind of, I can never get to grips with this ring light, I'm so sorry, I just suck at this. Or you can swish it around and kind of get a little bit more colour. Not the most pigmented, and the shimmer in here is a little bit much for me all the time, but I do like it sometimes. But if I had to pick, I think I like the Clinique one a little bit more because it's just kind of a more flattering tone. But that is it, that's everything that I've got to say about highlighters, my favourite ones. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your favourite highlighters are, and if you're someone who uses highlighter on a daily basis. It's something that I can kind of tend to forget to use. It's not a must-have product for me, but it is something that I like to incorporate into my routine every now and then. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.